What if I told you that the most powerful testosterone-supporting combination available to men over 50 is sitting in your kitchen right now? Not in a pharmacy, not behind a prescription counter, right in your kitchen. And most men walk past it every single day without knowing what they are missing. I am Dr. Narita, a board-certified urologist with over 12 years of experience helping men over 50 reclaim their strength, their drive, and their confidence. I have sat across from thousands of men who came to me convinced their vitality was simply gone, that age had made the decision for them. What I keep seeing again and again is that the body is not broken. It is simply undersupported. And some of the most powerful support comes from the most unexpected places. Before we get into everything, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now and drop a comment telling me where you are watching from. I love hearing from men all over the world who are taking their health seriously. It means more than you know. Now let us talk about what is actually happening inside the body of a man over 50. Because if you are going to understand why this combination works, you need to understand what you are working with. Here is the reality. After 50, testosterone levels in men decline at a rate of roughly 1 to 2% every single year. That sounds small until you do the math. By the time a man reaches 65, he may have lost 20 to 30% of the testosterone he had at his peak. And testosterone is not just about one aspect of health. It governs energy levels, muscle retention, mental clarity, mood stability, bone density, cardiovascular resilience, and yes, libido and sexual function. When it drops, everything feels like it drops with it. But here is what most men do not realize. Testosterone decline is not just about the hormone itself. A significant part of the problem is inflammation. Chronic, low-grade, silent inflammation that most men have no idea they are carrying. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that systemic inflammation directly suppresses the Leydig cells in the testes, the cells responsible for producing testosterone. In plain language, inflammation is quietly strangling your hormonal engine from the inside. The second problem is cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, and it is in direct biochemical opposition to testosterone. When cortisol rises, testosterone falls. When cortisol spikes chronically, which it does in men under poor sleep, poor nutrition, and ongoing stress, the body essentially trades away its testosterone to manage the perceived emergency. It is a survival trade-off your body makes automatically. And after 50, when testosterone production is already under pressure, that trade-off becomes enormously costly. The third problem is nitric oxide depletion. Nitric oxide is the molecule that controls blood flow throughout the body. It keeps blood vessels flexible and responsive. After 50, natural nitric oxide production begins to decline. And without adequate blood flow, nutrient delivery to every system in the body, including the hormonal system, becomes impaired. The whole machine begins to run on less than it needs. So when you address all three of these factors simultaneously, which is exactly what I am going to show you how to do tonight before you go to bed, you create the internal conditions for your body to actually restore what it has been losing. And the combination that does this is olive oil mixed with a very specific ingredient before bed. Let us go through it point by point. The first reason this works is what olive oil does for testosterone at the cellular level. Biologically, extra virgin olive oil is one of the richest dietary sources of oleocanthal and oleorupine, two polyphenolic compounds with among the most potent anti-inflammatory effects of any food substance studied in clinical research. A study published in Endocrine Connections found that men who consumed olive oil as their primary fat source showed significantly higher testosterone levels compared to men on low-fat diets. The reason is elegant. Testosterone is a steroid hormone synthesized from cholesterol. Your body needs healthy dietary fat to manufacture it, and olive oil provides exactly the kind of fat that supports this synthesis without triggering the inflammation that suppresses it. It fights both problems at once. Emotionally, this matters enormously. Many men over 50 begin to feel invisible, not just to others, but to themselves. The energy is not what it was. The drive has quieted. The confidence that once felt automatic now requires effort. When your hormonal system begins to recover, even modestly, men describe it as feeling like themselves again. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Practically, you want 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Not refined, not light. Cold-pressed extra virgin. This preserves the polyphenol content that makes it medically useful. Take it straight or mix it into what I am about to describe. The timing is important, before bed, because hormonal synthesis is most active during deep sleep. The second reason is what you are mixing the olive oil with, and this is where it becomes explosive in its effect. The ingredient is raw honey, specifically raw unfiltered honey. And I want to explain why this combination, olive oil and raw honey together before sleep, creates a biochemical environment inside your body that most men have never intentionally created before. Biologically, raw honey contains boron, a trace mineral that has been the subject of remarkable research in hormonal science. A study published in the journal Metabolism found that men who supplemented with boron for just 1 week showed a 46% increase in free testosterone and a significant reduction in estradiol, the form of estrogen that competes with testosterone in the male body. Boron works by inhibiting SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, the protein that binds to testosterone in your bloodstream and renders it biologically inactive. In simple terms, boron frees up the testosterone your body is already producing, but that is being locked away where it cannot do its job. Raw honey also contains chrysin, a natural compound studied for its ability to inhibit the conversion of testosterone to estrogen, a process called aromatization that accelerates after 50. Beyond boron, raw honey provides fructose in a form that supports liver glycogen replenishment overnight. Your liver is your primary detoxification organ and plays a central role in hormonal metabolism. When it has adequate fuel during sleep, it processes and recycles hormones more efficiently. Your body wakes up in better hormonal balance. Emotionally, I want to address something men rarely say out loud. Many men over 50 are not just dealing with physical changes. They are dealing with a quiet grief about those changes, a feeling of loss, of being somehow less. What I tell these men is this: your body has not betrayed you. It has simply been waiting for you to give it what it needs. And when you begin to do that consistently, things shift. The energy begins to return. The clarity improves. The sense of yourself begins to stabilize. That is not small. That is the difference between a man who feels like he is fading and a man who knows he is still becoming. Practically, the combination is simple. 2 tablespoons of cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered honey. Mix them together and take them 30 to 45 minutes before sleep, not right at bedtime. You want your body already metabolizing this as it moves into the early phases of sleep when the first wave of growth hormone is released. Consistency is everything. This is not a one-night result. Give it 3 to 4 weeks of nightly use before you assess. The third reason this combination works is its effect on cortisol during sleep. Biologically, cortisol follows a circadian rhythm. It should be at its lowest during the middle of the night and rise naturally in the early morning to prepare you for waking. But in men over 50 who carry chronic stress, poor sleep architecture, or elevated systemic inflammation, cortisol remains elevated at night, directly suppressing overnight testosterone production. The oleocanthal in olive oil has been shown to inhibit the same inflammatory enzyme pathways as ibuprofen, reducing the inflammatory burden that drives nighttime cortisol elevation. The natural sugars in raw honey stabilize blood glucose during sleep, preventing the glucose crashes that trigger cortisol spikes in the early morning hours, a pattern that many men over 50 experience as that jarring, anxious awakening at 3 or 4 in the morning that they cannot quite explain. When you stabilize cortisol overnight, you protect the testosterone synthesis window that your body opens during deep sleep. You stop the hormonal bleeding. A patient of mine, Robert, 62 years old, came to me exhausted. He said he was sleeping 7 hours a night, but waking up feeling like he had not slept at all. His testosterone tested at the low end of the normal range. His cortisol pattern was inverted, high at night, sluggish in the morning. We made several changes, but the one he credits most is this simple bedtime combination. 3 weeks in, he told me, "I do not wake up at 3 anymore. I actually feel rested." And something else came back that I thought was just gone. He smiled when he said it. He did not need to say more. Emotionally, chronic sleep disruption is one of the most corrosive forces in a man's life after 50. It erodes everything: patience, mood, cognitive sharpness, physical resilience, libido. When sleep improves, men describe it as a cascade of recovery. One thing getting better seems to give permission for everything else to follow. Practically, if you are waking consistently in the early morning hours, that is a cortisol signal. Add the olive oil and honey combination immediately. Track your sleep quality for 2 weeks. Most men report noticeable change within 10 to 14 days. The fourth point is the combination's effect on nitric oxide and vascular health. Biologically, olive oil's polyphenols support endothelial function, the health and responsiveness of the cells lining your blood vessels. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that regular consumption of extra virgin olive oil significantly increased nitric oxide bioavailability in older men. More nitric oxide means more blood flow. More blood flow means better nutrient delivery to every organ system, including the testes. It also means better cardiovascular performance, better cognitive function, and better sexual function. These are not separate benefits. They are all expressions of the same underlying improvement in vascular health. Raw honey complements this through its antioxidant content, which reduces oxidative stress on blood vessel walls. Oxidative stress is one of the primary causes of endothelial dysfunction in men over 50. Together, these two foods create a mild but consistent vasodilatory environment overnight while the body repairs itself. Here, I want to pause for a moment. Quick check before we continue. We are past the halfway point, and I want to make sure this is landing for you. If you are finding value here, share this video with one man in your life who needs it. You might be giving him something he has been looking for. A patient named George, 58 years old, came to me with concerns about energy and what he called general dimming. His words. He said everything felt dimmer. His workouts had plateaued. His interest in life had flattened. His blood work showed low normal testosterone and elevated inflammatory markers. I put him on this protocol alongside some dietary changes. 8 weeks later, he came back and said, "I do not know what changed first, but something definitely changed." He had lost 6 pounds without trying. His energy in the afternoons, which had been his worst time, was no longer a wall he hit. He said he felt lit up again, his words. Emotionally, vascular health is deeply connected to male identity in ways that go unspoken. When blood flow diminishes, men experience it as a loss of aliveness. When it begins to restore, what comes back is not just physical function. It is the feeling of being present, of being fully inside your own body again. Practically, the addition of a small amount of ground black pepper to your olive oil and honey mixture can significantly enhance polyphenol absorption through its piperine content. A 1/4 teaspoon is sufficient. This small addition can meaningfully increase the bioavailability of everything else you are taking. The fifth point is this combination's role in supporting deep sleep and growth hormone release. Biologically, human growth hormone is released primarily during the first 90 minutes of deep sleep. It is the master repair hormone of the male body. It supports muscle synthesis, fat metabolism, cellular regeneration, and hormonal balance. After 50, growth hormone output declines significantly, and the quality of early deep sleep largely determines how much of it you still produce. The stable blood glucose provided by raw honey's fructose content directly supports the depth and continuity of early sleep stages. Research from the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition has shown that a small pre-sleep carbohydrate dose improves slow-wave sleep quality in older adults. Slow-wave sleep is where growth hormone is released. You are not just supporting testosterone, you are creating the conditions for your body's entire repair system to function at a higher level overnight. Emotionally, what men describe when deep sleep improves is a returning sense of resilience, the feeling that you can handle things again, that the irritability and fragility that had crept in begin to recede. Men who sleep deeply feel more themselves, more capable, more connected to the people they love. Practically, your complete bedtime protocol looks like this: 2 tablespoons cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon raw unfiltered honey, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. Mix and take 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. Make it part of a consistent wind-down routine. Dim lighting, no screens for 30 minutes before bed. Same sleep time every night within 30 minutes. The protocol enhances what good sleep hygiene makes possible. Here is your simple action plan. Step 1. Tomorrow, pick up cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil and raw unfiltered honey if you do not already have them. Read the labels. Extra virgin, cold-pressed. Raw, unfiltered. These are not interchangeable with refined versions. Step 2. Every night, 30 to 45 minutes before you sleep, take the mixture. 2 tablespoons olive oil, 1 tablespoon honey, a 1/4 teaspoon black pepper. Step 3. Track how you feel across 4 weeks. Energy in the morning, quality of sleep, afternoon energy levels, libido, mood. Keep a simple note on your phone. That is it. 3 steps. 1 small ritual before bed. I want to say something to you directly now, and I want you to really hear it. If you have been frustrated, if you have felt the quiet embarrassment of noticing that something in you has faded and not knowing how to talk about it or who to tell, if you have wondered whether the best of your physical life is simply behind you, you are not broken. Nothing is wrong with you as a man. Your body is responding to a lifetime of demand and a shift in its internal chemistry. That is not failure. That is biology. And biology responds to intelligent support. Men in their 60s, their 70s, even their 80s have sat in my office and walked out with a direction and then come back transformed. Not by medication alone, often by the most fundamental things: sleep, food, consistency, respect for what the body still wants to do if you give it half a chance. It is never too late to begin. That is not a motivational line. That is what I have watched happen again and again across 12 years of practice. The body wants to heal. It wants to strengthen. Your job is simply to create the conditions. If this video gave you something today, give it a like so other men can find it. Leave a comment below and type the word olive if this made sense to you. Share it with one man you know who is dealing with low energy, poor sleep, or a feeling that something has shifted. Subscribe if you want practical, science-backed health guidance every single week made specifically for men over 50. I am Dr. Narita, reminding you that after 50, vitality is not lost. It is simply waiting for you to awaken it. Take care of yourself, gentlemen. I will see you in the next one.